First of all, Dean, thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
You started your career at Derby County and were vital to their promotion, scoring 20 goals. Looking back on it, how did it feel to be that talisman?
It was very enjoyable, very exciting. So it was the first time I was regularly playing first team football. So I made my debut as an 18-year-old and was in and out of the team. But then this was a season which was the real breakthrough season and really showed everybody what my quality was about. So that was thoroughly enjoyable to get the respect from my fellow players, fans and pundits and newspapers. So it was very exciting in a nutshell.
Yeah. And moving into the Premier League, you extended your unbeaten home run with a wonder strike against Arsenal. What did that goal mean to you for your career?
You're talking about the goal against Arsenal at Highbury? You saying, or at home? At home, did you say? At Pride Park? Or
yeah,
it must have been at Pride Park, yeah. I was going to say, the first year in the Premier League we played Arsenal at the baseball ground, and that was the last game of the season. I didn't play in that one actually, but I think Ashley Ward scored a goal with the one at Pride Park. It was obviously exciting to score against Arsenal because my hero at the time growing up as a young lad was Ian Wright, so to score against a team that he played in, and then obviously Nicholas Anelka, Dennis Bergkamp, who were like world-class stars who were playing for their country and known around the world, and I was just looking to imitate them in a way and try, and happy to be on the same pitch and to score goals for Derby and at Pride Park and against a team that I supported as a young lad in Arsenal was really fulfilling.
Yeah. And would you say that was one of your biggest highlights during your career? Or?
I think the biggest highlight, or one of the bigger ones, was I think the first goal I ever scored against Arsenal, which was at Highbury in the first year we were in the Premier League, where that's a goal that a lot of people always talk about when I was playing and when I retired, because aesthetically it was a goal where I shot and it hit the crossbar and then came down and bounced into the net, so it always looks a little bit better when the ball hits the crossbar and then finds the back of the net.
You then went on to Leicester after almost a decade at the Rams. Unfortunately it didn't go as well as you might have hoped. Why do you think that was, and do you regret making that move?
No, I think football, you can't have regrets. You make a decision and you have to go in, and be fully committed. I had injuries, and I was having injuries in the latter part of my time at Derby, so I wasn't as explosive as I had been in previous years when I played for Leicester, in terms of the intensity of the Premier League and having to replicate the intensity of speed running, in terms of, because of the issues that I was having with my body. I wouldn't regret the Leicester move, but I would say I didn't play as well as I could do, but still I contributed to Leicester, scored goals, and I feel I was value for money because they managed to recoup it when I signed for Wolves.
Yeah. And you then went to play for Wolves. Just talk us through your highlights.
Probably one of the biggest highlights was the hat-trick in I think it was my home debut, but I definitely scored a hat-trick against Barnsley, which was very exciting. What was good about it was the size of the stadium, the fans were very passionate, so I had many highs at Wolves, I'd say, because scoring many goals in that first season I was there, and then we just fell shy, didn't get promoted, but then in the second season we got promoted. So I would say there was very little lows in my time at Wolves, probably just near the end again when I had the accumulation of injuries mounted up again. But I'd look at my time at Wolves as being many, many highs, and there wouldn't be one real standout moment because it was an enjoyable time at the club.
Yeah. And what was your relationship with George and Nathan that are here tonight on the pitch?
Yeah, Nathan and I had good times and bad times. He was a strike partner who led with his physical presence and could lead the line well, where I was more of a penalty box striker. So we'd get on brilliantly off the pitch, laugh and joke. Sometimes we would have a little dig at each other on the pitch in terms of where we should be in certain positions at certain times when the ball was being played. But I think generally I'd hope you'd say we had a good relationship, because that's how it was for me, from my point of view. George, very similar in that. Off the pitch, we were always laughing and joking. On the pitch, we didn't play with one another as much as we'd want to in the same team. So I was with Nathan Blake, or I may play with Kenny Miller. But George and I think probably only once or twice that we were on the pitch at the start of a game together. And I think it was actually Sheffield United away when we played together just before the playoffs. And I think I scored 2 and George scored 1, and we won 3-1 or 3-2. and I knew beforehand, but it was surprising in that me knowing that we could complement one another. It was just a real big bun fight to play regularly, because if you think of myself, George, Kenny Miller, Nathan Blake, 4 strikers with different attributes, different qualities, but all of us could play together in the same team as a 2-man strike force, and it was just whatever the manager chose. But I'd say with Nathan and George, got on really well with them, brilliantly off the pitch, always having lots of banter, lots of laughs. But as a competitor on the pitch, I demanded things from my teammates, and my teammates demanded things from me, so you'd always have little issues or little disagreements, but then it will be forgotten about.
Yeah. And finally, if you could pick one moment that you enjoyed the most of playing throughout the whole of your career, what would that be?
I wouldn't say one moment. You asked the question earlier about highlights at Wolves. I said the moment at Derby was that goal against Arsenal. That was probably the most excited I'd ever felt for scoring a goal, because new to the Premier League. Leicester, I did a Cruyff flick goal that was fulfilling, to do things that you do on the training ground, and then you replicate that on match day. And for Wolves, probably the 2 highlights: one, scoring a hat-trick, I think, as I said, in my home debut against Barnsley, and then getting promoted as well, and being part of that squad and contributing to it and achieving something at the end of the season.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click here to watch them in full. Also, subscribe if you're new, so you can follow my journey to the media world.